Ms. Perez. I hope that everybody's staying safe and productive in their houses. I know that these times are a little bit crazy, and we're probably confused, a little bit stressed, especially you seniors. Trust me, us as teachers, we're also scared. We're confused. We don't know what's gonna happen. We're trying to learn how to online teach. That's a challenge. But I know that one thing we are doing is that we're staying positive, and I encourage you guys to stay positive as well. Okay? Please always look at the bright side of things, and let's learn to adapt to these new times. Um, I wanted to come on here because I want to show you how to make a delicious creme brulee recipe. It's a French, kind of like a custard made out of egg yolks and heavy cream. So I'll get to the recipe in a little bit, but I wanted to, talk to you guys a little bit. I mean, I haven't seen you in what, like a month? I know that some of you guys might be thinking that this is an unfortunate time, that you're unlucky. I mean, your class was the one that was hit with the virus. I want you to look at it in a different way. Think of it like you were the lucky class who got all of this time to stop and think, where am I going? Where am I headed? What am I doing? What was I doing wrong? What do I doing? What do I need to do more of?
This is your time, yours, nobody else's, just yours. So make sure that you are using it to your advantage. Don't waste it. These opportunities don't come very often. It's once in a lifetime. Take advantage of it.
Reinvent yourself. Do something new. I mean, I've always wanted to try to have a YouTube channel. I do little videos here and there, but I've never had the time to sit down and edit a video, especially even teach myself, because I taught myself to edit these videos. And I'm using this time and using it, and then I hope that in return these videos help you guys to learn something. Now, I know that some of you guys are stuck at home babysitting, which is very unfortunate, but it's the reality. Some of our parents are working, and then of course they use us as babysitters. You know, take it as a, see the positive. I mean, I'm stuck at home too with my kids. I mean, I don't hate them. No, I don't hate my kids, but they get annoying. They do. They get annoying. So I had to come up with an idea. I had to, it seems a little crazy, but I put those boys on a schedule. They have to. There's no way. So maybe you can do the same thing. I mean, if you're a person that is not very organized, take this time to get organized. Like, start a schedule. Routine helps you keep on going, like never stop. And that's what's been helping my kids, keeping them in a routine. It sounds a little crazy, but if you have siblings at home, try to do the same thing, and trust me, they won't drive you nuts. They won't drive you crazy, and then you'll have more time for your stuff, for your free time.
For your assignments.
I want you to use this time to think of possible careers that you can get into, because yes, it's gonna be hard, especially you seniors. The unemployment rate is really high, so we need to get creative. We need to use our head, and we have a lot of free time right now to do that. So let's learn to develop programs. I mean, all these companies that are coming out here and there developing programs for teaching, for health screening online, or let's see what else, food delivery, different types of apps. You guys are good at this. Come on. Let's think, let's innovate, let's invent, let's make this world better. Another career that has to do with culinary, dietitians. I think this career is gonna be in high demand. Why? Because everybody right now is scared. They don't wanna get sick. And how do you prevent that? You need to eat healthy. All these meal prep companies, they're making bank right now because they're preparing meals. They deliver them at home. All those people that don't know how to cook, they're making money right now, and we need to get creative. After this, a lot of people are gonna change their lifestyle, and they're gonna start eating I hope they start eating healthier. I know I always push you guys to eat veggies. I start to, these dietitians. This is a good career. They're gonna start, pushing for that healthy lifestyle, and people are gonna start looking for it. It's gonna be in demand. People that sell life insurance, come on, high demand right now. You need to stand out and think, what am I going to do? Because companies are not gonna be hiring right now. They're not. And so you need to stand out. What can I do to be better so that they pick me? Okay? For example, me with my YouTube videos, no, I'm not looking to become rich. I'm not looking to become popular. This is for myself. This is my resume. This is what I put in there. You can, when you go to look for a job, you're gonna stand out. Hey, you've done public speaking, because this is public speaking. There's people out there who are gonna see me, and they're gonna be like, they're gonna comment, and they're gonna give you feedback, and you need that feedback. Make videos. Don't be scared. What else? I have my notes because I forget. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm gonna become rich from these videos, but this is my been there, done that, because I live by that. Been there, done that. It's on your resume. It can always benefit you. It's good. When I tell you to try something new, I am not telling you to go bungee jumping or something crazy like that. Like, make sure you're staying safe. Now let's get on to cooking. So our ingredients for our creme brulee are going to be, we're going to be using 6 egg yolks. So we are going to separate our eggs. We're going to separate our whites from our yolks. You're going to need 1 quart of heavy cream. So I have 2 pints, which equal to 1 quart. There's 2 cups in here, 2 cups in here. We're using a total of 4 cups, which is the same as 1 quart. Remember, I taught you this in class, okay? 1 quart is equivalent to 4 cups. We will be using 4 cups, okay? We're gonna use 1 cup of granulated white sugar and a tablespoon of vanilla. You're also going to need a whisk and a bowl. You're going to need some hot water. You're going to need a sauce pot. And you're going to need the containers. These are ramekins. And this is what we will bake our custard in. You also want to have a container big enough to cook your creme brulees in, okay? And then once our creme brulees are baked, we have to brûlée the top, which means we're gonna cook the sugar. I have a blowtorch right here that we are going to use to brûlée the top of our creme brulee. Now, if you don't have a blowtorch in your home, which you probably don't, and I don't want you using one either without, any supervision, you can use the push the broil button so we can caramelize the top of our custard. Okay, so let's get started. Preheat my oven to 350 degrees. So we gotta get that started so that our oven is at 350 when we're ready to put our custard in. We're gonna separate our eggs. This is how I do it. I crack the egg and I open and I let the white kind of like slip out like this, and I use the eggshell to kind of juggle the egg white around until we get all of that egg white out. See? This is what we're gonna use for our custard. Now we use the egg yolk because the egg yolk and the fat is what's gonna make our custard nice and velvety, smooth, and rich. So we're gonna separate all our eggs, and the egg whites we can use to make meringues, we can use to make macarons, we can use for egg white omelets, we can use them for many things. So don't throw them away. Don't throw them away. So I have separated all my eggs. I'm gonna put my egg whites in the refrigerator for later. And then this is what we're left, our 6 yolks. So into our 6 yolks, we're going to add half a cup of sugar. Remember, our recipe calls for a whole cup, but we're gonna add half a cup to our egg yolks. And I'm gonna put them just on the side because I'm not quite ready to start mixing yet. And then the other half of sugar is going to go into my sauce pot. So half a cup of sugar, and we are going to add our heavy cream. Remember, we are using 2 pints, which is the same as 4 cups, which is the same as 1 quart. Remember your measurements, guys. Don't forget. So we're gonna pour them both into our sauce pot. Okay, so we're gonna set this on the heat. We do not want it to boil because it will break. We're just gonna heat it up so it's nice and warm. We do not want it to boil, so keep an eye on it. All right, so while I wait for my heavy cream to warm up, I'm going to set on the back burner a teapot with water, and I'm going to heat it up. You don't necessarily want it to boil, but you want it to be pretty hot. Not necessarily boiling, but you want to get that going while we wait for our heavy cream to warm up too. Remember, we have our oven preheating as well. It's all about mise en place, you know, having your things ready to go. Ready to go. All right, guys, so I want you to look at the cream over here, and it's starting to kind of bubble around the sides. I don't know if you can see, probably not. So you can see it's already hot. We're gonna go ahead and turn it off. And then we're gonna start whisking our yolks with our sugar. Okay. We're gonna whisk till they're nice and creamy. Okay. I'm going to add my vanilla extract into my egg yolks. If we were using real vanilla beans, we would actually add it into our milk, because vanilla beans obviously are stronger, taste better, but they're also more expensive. So we have vanilla extract. And with vanilla extract, I don't want the vanilla extract to evaporate. So I want to keep it in my yolks, because if we were to put it into our milk, it's going to evaporate and it's going to lose its flavor, because we are already using stuff that's not as, you know, strong as a real vanilla bean. So we're going to go ahead and pour and just incorporate our 1 tablespoon of vanilla in here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to temper our yolks. So think of when you're making scrambled eggs. How fast do they cook? They cook really fast. And so we don't want to make scrambled egg here. slowly add some of our hot cream into our egg yolks so that we don't scare them, so we don't shock them. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to add a little bit of the milk at a time, the heavy cream, like this. And we're just gonna whisk. A little bit at a time. And this is warming up these egg yolks. It's warming them up, getting them ready for a high temperature. And that way they don't curdle on you. Otherwise you're gonna have pieces of scrambled egg in here, okay? So now that this is nice and warm, now we can add the rest of the liquid, the rest of the hot liquid, because it's already warm. Kind of like when you go, when you test the water in the shower, that's what we're doing. You know, we don't want to get scared. We don't want to get cold, okay? Perfect. So now that this is all tempered, we're gonna return it to the pot to cook for another like 2 minutes. Okay? Remember, we don't want to scramble them, we just want to finish cooking those egg whites. Okay? We're gonna turn our heat back on. Alright, so we're just gonna heat up our egg yolk mixture until it comes up to a light simmer. We don't want to, and we want to keep on stirring because we don't want to cook those egg yolks. Okay? So once you have that going, we're gonna turn it off, and we're gonna go get a clean bowl because we're gonna strain it. We're gonna strain our mixer because although you were very careful to not scramble the eggs, you still want to strain them just in. Okay, so I have a bowl lined with a strainer, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna strain our custard. This is to remove any scrambled egg that might have, you know, scrambled in the process. And we do have some, you see that? Tiny little bits. We don't want those, okay? So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use a ramekin and a ladle, okay? And our ramekin, we want to fill it to the little line right here. That's where we're gonna fill it, okay? But since we're gonna do more than one, I am going to have them already preset in my pan so I don't have to carry them and I don't have to splash all over the place. So we're gonna fill them inside the pan. I'm gonna take a ladle of the mixture and I'm going to pour. Okay. And do this until you have all your ramekins filled. Notice that I have a large ramekin in the middle. The larger one obviously is going to take more time to cook. So we will pull out the little ones first, and then we'll pull out the other one at a later time. Now these are gonna take about 40 minutes to cook in the oven. You wanna pull them out when you know they're set, but they still jiggle a little bit at the middle. Because remember, when you have something in the oven and you take it out, it continues to cook outside of the oven with the residual heat that stays on the item itself. So we want to be conscientious of that. This is is gonna be a really big one. I didn't have any more ramekins, so. Okay, so I have all my ramekins filled, and then I have my hot water back there. So what's gonna happen is that we're gonna pour our hot water up to probably halfway of our ramekins. We're gonna fill this with hot water, and what that does is that it helps the custard cook at a slower rate. Because if we were to put this in there without water, it would come out tough and rubbery, so kind of like a scrambled egg. So that's why we put water in here, and this is called a bain-marie. In Spanish we know it as baño maria, and that's when we pour the water and we cook it at a slow pace. So remember, we're not trying to shock those eggs. We don't want them to, you know, coagulate too fast and toughen up on us. So the way I like to do it is that I pull my rack out, and then I grab my tray with the ramekins, and I put it right in the center. And then I pour the hot water. You gotta be careful, try not to pour water on the actual custard, because you will water it down and then it'll be creme brulee juice. Okay, I think that's plenty. And then we're slowly, with our oven mitts, we slowly push the tray in, okay? See you in 40 minutes. Okay, so our creme brulees have cooled in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. You can make these ahead of time, like up to like 3 days, and keep them in the refrigerator, but you want to brulee the top right before you serve, because if you brulee before, what happens is that the sugar softens and you won't hear that distinct crack that creme brulee has. So what I'm gonna do is I have my creme brulee here. I'm going to add some white granulated sugar, and we're just gonna sprinkle on top like this, and we are going to kind of like rotate so that it covers the top, and we want a thin cover. We don't want a large coating, and you can just put the rest of the sugar back into your canister, just like that. Cover like that. Then we're gonna take our torch and we are going to brulee the top. Like I said, if you don't have a torch, you can use your oven and just put it on the broil setting, and it'll kind of toast the top. Okay, so this is how our creme brulees look after they've, chilled in the refrigerator. They're nice and solid. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna brulee the top. Creme brulee means burnt cream, but what we're actually gonna burn is the sugar on top. And this is very distinctive of creme brulees, because when you burn the sugar, it creates this coating on top. It's almost like candy-like, that makes this distinctive cracking noise when you dig into it. So we're gonna sprinkle the sugar, and then we're gonna brulee it with a torch. Now, if you don't have a torch, you can use the broil setting in your stove, and then just lightly caramelize the top. Just make sure not to burn it, to the point that it's black. It'll be very bitter. So here we go. You just torch it until you start seeing those little bubbles form. It's kind of like a candy coating on top. I mean, if you don't have the tool or you don't have a broiler, you can always leave it off, leave the sugar off. It tastes delicious without it. This is just what makes it so special.
I mean, I love this dessert so much that sometimes I don't even wait for it to cool. I start eating it like while it's still warm. It's pretty good. So after this, we let it cool, and then it cools pretty fast. Like right now, it's already cool. So you garnish it whatever you want. You don't have to garnish, but I like to garnish it with berries just because this is so. It's a sweet dessert. It's really, you know, decadent. You want to break through with something that's a little bit sour. Um, so I wanted to show you the noise that this makes when you crack into it. It's like a candy coating on top. Now to eat it. So yummy. Okay guys, this does it for today's video. I hope that you try this at home. It's so delicious. You will impress your family. Really good. I'll see you next time. Bye.